If you want better clients, kill the guarantees. I'm going to share something with you guys that I've shared before, but I'm going to reiterate it because I do think it's really important, is when you are offering a coaching package service where the client is having to show up and do the work, I believe that offering a guarantee is the single fastest way to attract the worst possible clients and screw up your business. So let me explain. Over the past 8 years with Healthpreneur, we have made 4 concessions. 4 concessions, basically meaning when someone came in, they wanted some special concessions, right? So like customize the payment plans for them or modify the contract here and there. And in those 4 occasions, I can tell you this with 100% certainty, is that each one of those 4 people, we either kicked out of the program or they became a horrible client to work with. We also offered something called a 7-day love it or leave it. We tested this out temporarily where it said, listen, we understand that you may not know what it's like on the inside. You want a bit of certainty. You want to have a look through the house before you buy it. Totally get that. So we offered the 7-day love it or leave it guarantee. We tested it for a few months and we recognized that one of 2 things happens. People who came in ultimately were not successful in the long run, or they came in for a few days and they were looking for reasons not to continue. And so these and many other similar type of scenarios led me to understand that in the dynamic of a coaching relationship, I believe offering a guarantee can be one of the worst things you do for your business. And here's why. In a coaching relationship, you show up and the client shows up. And if the client is sitting back saying to themselves, well, I'm not going to work with you unless I have this and this and this, and you're like, oh, okay, let me make all these modifications, the dynamic in that relationship has completely shifted. And it has shifted away from you being the solution and the prize to them being that. And what that means is you give them an inch, they take a mile. So yes, I mean, in the world of marketing, we know that having an irresistible offer is very good, right? It's very powerful to have a risk-free guarantee, try before you buy. All that kind of stuff is going to help people reduce risk and help them make a buying decision. I get that. I've been in business for 20 years, and there's a very big difference between selling Lego and selling coaching. There's a very big difference between selling agency work, where you are doing all the work for the client, versus having the client do the work themselves. And so what I have noticed in my time is that offering a guarantee is not great for your business or your clients. Now, the flip side to that is you will lose many clients on the front end, for sure, who will not be willing to move forward without some type of reassurance. And herein lies the big opportunity for you, is you have to get very, very good at having a conversation with someone to help them move through that thinking. So this actually just happened in our business not too long ago. We had someone who was interested in potentially working with us, and then he laid out all these stipulations at the end of a call. I need to speak with 3 of your clients. I need a 90-day guarantee. I need free 30 days to check it out. And I'm just like, have fun. Good luck with that. So basically, we're not making those concessions if you haven't figured that out. But here's the problem with that, is that I understand where that person's coming from. I completely understand, right? They're kind of, they're committed to a 12-month relationship. They don't really know what's on the inside. What if it doesn't work out? And here's the deal, is that you have to be so good at getting people to see the value in what you do and having proof to show them that what you do is undeniable, that they don't even make demands like that. And so partly that's on us for not being able to demonstrate that properly. And also recognizing that the earlier in business you are, there might be an opportunity to offer a guarantee. Like if you've never worked with a client, you may want to say, listen, I'll work with you for free for 4 weeks in exchange for a video testimonial. We call this a beta group or a beta client. So you can work with them for free upfront in exchange for experience and social proof. And then maybe over time, that starts to change, right? Like over time, you have so much proof that it's undeniable that your process works. And if someone is questioning that, then it's really a matter of you being able to have a conversation with someone around that. So if I'm having this conversation with this individual, it's like, hey, listen, like I totally understand you want all these reassurances. I get that, right? You're stepping into the unknown. You're not sure if this is going to work out. I completely get where you're coming from. But if I'm being honest with you, it's concerning for me. Because even if I showed you clients who won, I can also show you clients who didn't do as well. And when you went to school, Mr. Prospect, did everyone in the class get the same grade? No. But that's interesting, isn't it? Like you all, the same professor, same teacher, same curriculum, and everyone got different grades? Huh. How is that possible? Well, what does that come down to? Each individual student. Well, why is that? Well, some students studied and worked harder and so forth. Huh, okay, but you didn't question the school knowing that going into it, right? Now, I understand the school is an establishment. Maybe it's been there longer. You trust them more than you trust us. I totally get that. But if that's the scenario there, well, why would it be any different here? Some of our clients don't do well because they don't show up. The vast majority get great results, and there's a percentage, just like a bell curve, that absolutely crush it. So my question to you is, what do their results have to do with you? Because if I'm being honest with you, what I'm concerned about is my reputation. I'm not interested in bringing clients in who are looking for the exit before they start. Our most successful clients commit. Just like you do in a relationship. You don't start a relationship looking for the next one that's going to be better in the meantime, right? That's never going to work out. So how is your business going to be any different if you treat it like that? And so the conversation really comes around, like you have to empathize and acknowledge where people are coming from. But at the same time, it's like that level of thinking is never going to get you to where you want to go. You're looking for certainty in an uncertain world, right? I'm telling you, the only reason you will not succeed with our help is because you just stop trying. That's it. I don't know when your results are going to happen. Some of our clients crush it in the first 7 days. Sometimes it takes 7 months. What's the difference? It's on you, right? Like the reality is right now, Mr. Prospect, you have the track record, you do, of the problem. We have the track record of the solution. Thousands and thousands and thousands of case studies. How many more do you want to see before you believe it's possible for you? Because the reality is if you don't believe you have what it takes to win, I cannot allow you into the program. This is the conversation I want you to get very good at having with potential clients. If a client is asking you from a health perspective for a guarantee, this is the conversation, right? Understand where it's coming from. They want a guarantee. They want reassurance of something because they don't know it's going to work. But you have to understand that you are a professional, you're a doctor, you're an expert, you're a therapist. You know your process works. But what you also know is that this person doesn't. Hey, we'll get back to the video in just a second, but before we do, if you're an experienced health professional who's wanting to grow your business online and you want a better, faster way to do so, and you're liking what we're all about here at Healthpreneur, click the link in the description to see if you qualify for us to help you scale your business 10 times faster without the grind and without the guesswork. Click the link below in the description, and let's get back to the video. In some way, because they have the problem still. So you have to be like, hey, listen, like as much as I'd love to give you a guarantee, what I need from you is a guarantee. Because how do you think I'm going to look? How do you think my reputation is going to be affected if all I did was enroll people who didn't do the work and decided to give up when the going got tough? I wouldn't be in business. You see, the difference between a doctor in the medical system versus me is that no matter what your outcomes are, the doctor gets paid. They get a salary. But because I run my own business, I don't stay in business unless my clients get results. So if you don't get better, my business doesn't get better and I don't stay in business. And that's why I actually give a shit. And that's why I'm only interested in taking people in who agree that you have to take ownership for how you show up. If I give you a workout plan and a meal plan and you don't follow that, that's 100% on you. And so I need to know from you, Mr. or Mrs. Prospect, that you can show up and do the work. Can you do that? That you can keep going when those limiting beliefs that have held you back up until now kick in, because I promise you they will. The difference is that I'll be right by your side. But I need you to tell me right now that you can keep going even on those days where you don't feel like it. Yeah? Good. And whatever other stipulations, right? So it might be 2 or 3 things. And if they say yes, yes, and yes to those things, and it's like, great, then there's your guarantee. And if you're not okay with that, then I'm sorry, but unfortunately, you're going to deal with this problem for a very, very long time. Because I'm sure you can find some guarantee you're looking for out there from a cheap coach. And you know the types of coaches that will offer you these types of guarantees? They're typically the coaches or experts who don't have a lot of experience. And you know why they're offering you those types of guarantees? Because they need to in order to generate business. I do not need you to work with me. I'd love to help you, but please understand that us working together, it doesn't change anything for me. It makes a huge difference for you. But I've also been doing this for 10, 15, 20 years, whatever the length of time is, and I've helped thousands of people. So I have the solution you're looking for. So I'm not going to come down to your level and start making concessions because of your uncertainty in yourself. So it's really up to you. You can look for the guarantee and keep looking and keep looking and keep looking, and you can keep pointing fingers at other people for your lack of results. Or you can look in the mirror, take ownership for how you're showing up. And if this makes sense, then we can move forward. So where do you think we should go from here? This is the conversation that you need to get good at having with potential clients. Remember, they are doing the work. You have a proven process. You have spent years in school, dropped tons of money to become an expert. In no universe should you be dropping your status to some person's level who has been in shocking health for 10, 20 years. And to think that somehow they're going to call the shots. No, they're not going to call the shots. Because if they want results, they have to start doing things differently. So I believe in a coaching business, it is fundamentally not the right move to make, especially if you're more established, to be offering a guarantee. And I also say that with the understanding that it will lose you clients. It will lose people on the front end who are saying, I'm not moving forward without some type of reassurance. But I can promise you this, you want to avoid those people because they don't have what it takes to win. They don't. And I can't, I've been working with people for 20 years, okay? Anytime you do things for free, where there's no commitment, where there's no skin in the game, where there's an easy out, people will take the path of least resistance. So think about it this way. You offer a 30-day money-back guarantee, you can leave the program, okay? And it's a 12-month commitment or whatever length of time it is. What's going to happen is someone is going to get into the first couple of weeks and they're going to run into a roadblock. Initially, it might be cool. And then they're like, oh, this is actually harder than I thought it was going to be. You know what? Path of least resistance, I'm just going to leave and get my money back. And that's how losers operate. The reason it's not a good idea to have that is because you don't actually help the client move through that resistance. If someone commits to the full program, 12 weeks, 12 months, whatever it is, and they run into that resistance, this is their opportunity to move through that as opposed to cowering back into what's safe and keeping them stuck. So I don't care if someone doesn't want to commit to a 12-month relationship with me. I don't give a shit. It's non-negotiable because if you want to get where you want to go, you're not going to play by your rules. You're going to play by my rules. You want my results your way? You're fucking crazy. That's not going to happen. That would be like going to a pro sports team and saying, yeah, I'm not going to train. I'm just going to do my own thing. And actually, this happens at very high levels. If you follow soccer, and if you haven't seen this documentary, I strongly recommend it for what it takes to win. The documentary behind the scenes of Arsenal in England Football Club. A couple years ago, their top player, the top scorer in the league, and the captain of the team, Aubameyang, he was benched and forced to train by himself because he would not adhere to the standards of the team. So Mikel Arteta, who had come in to start I think it was his first year coaching the team, he's like, no, that's not the culture we're going to build here. You show up late to practice. You decide to go to Ibiza for a weekend and you don't come back in time. You're not training with the team here. This is the best player and the captain on the team. He literally secluded him to train by himself. And then they sold him to Barcelona and got rid of him. And this is an example, guys. When you set a culture and a standard for your business, you have to pretend like you are an Ivy League school. Like we have a lower acceptance rate into our high-level coaching program, HBA, than Harvard does. Less than 3% of people who apply to work with us actually are invited to do so. And the reason for that is because we've worked with a lot of people over the years. And yes, some people we've learned that are, all right, they don't get the best results. Let's not work with those types of people. And these ones get better results. Let's work more with these types of people. And it's about having standards and being able to say no to people. So when someone comes in, and I'll give you a great red flag to look out for. When someone wants all the details before they start, I can guarantee you they are never starting. When someone is asking for all the details of what everything's going to look like on the inside, they're telling you, I need certainty. And if they need a tremendous amount of certainty, it means that they lack it within themselves. And if they lack certainty, they're not going to make a decision. And if they don't believe in themselves, even if they do make a decision, they're not going to follow through because it's always about them and them. So you look at these patterns over time and you say, okay, well, who are the types of people that I do want to work with? They're not the types of people that are making all sorts of stupid demands. You set the standard. Do you think Harvard is bending over backwards to let people in? No. The applicants are bending over backwards to get into Harvard. And that's because Harvard has the bar set high. So again, if you're further along in business, if you've been doing this for several years and you've got a track record, no way should you be lowering the bar. Keep the bar as high as possible, never discount, don't offer a guarantee, put it right back on the client, because if they don't have what it takes to win, you should not enroll them, because it's bad for them and it's bad for your business. If $1 million fell into your lap, do you believe you'd be worth it to hold on to that money? Do you believe you're worth it to even accept that money in the first place? I had a client ask me this question yesterday. He has recently come into some awesome growth in his business, and it's a little bit new for him, and he hasn't really been sure how to handle it.